After learning about factors and multiples, let us now understand what is meant by LCM. LCM, as I've already mentioned, is least common multiple, and LCM of two or more given numbers is the least number which is exactly divisible by each one of the numbers. We have already understood what is meant by an exact division. So LCM of two or more given numbers is that smallest number which is divisible by all the given numbers. For example, LCM of 3 and 4 is 12. Why? Because 12 is the smallest number which is divisible by 3 as well as 4. There is no number which is less than 12 and divisible by both 3 and 4. So 12 should be taken as the least common multiple of 3 and 4. Let us try to understand LCM in an illustrative manner. The given numbers here are 3 and 4, and we are supposed to find out the least common multiple of 3 and 4. Let us write down the multiples of 3. As we have discussed earlier, multiples of 3 are 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24 and so on. Similarly, the multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32 and so on. So the multiples part is over. Now we need to find out the common multiples of 3 and 4. Now from this we can say that the common multiples are 12 and then we have 24, and if we proceed further we will find 36, 48, 60 as the common multiples of 3 and 4. But our interest is least common multiple. So the least of these common multiples here is 12. So that is the reason we say that 12 is the LCM of 3 and 4. So 12 here is the smallest number which is a multiple of 3 as well as a multiple of 4. That means it is the smallest number or the least number which is divisible by both 3 and 4. But friends, this cannot be taken as a standard procedure of finding out the LCM. Why? Because if the numbers are large, let's say the given numbers are 33 and 74, then writing down all the multiples and then finding out common multiples would become a very lengthy task. So let us now learn the simplest way of finding out the LCM of the given numbers. Let us take the same example, that is LCM of 3 and 4. What we need to do here is write down the numbers 3 and 4 in a straight row and then find out the common prime factors for these two numbers. What is meant by prime factors? Prime factors are those factors which are prime in nature. We know what are prime numbers: 2, 3, 5, 7, etc. So these numbers can be considered as prime factors if they are factors for the given numbers. So let us start with the prime factor 2. Now we need to check out of 3 and 4, is there any number which is divisible by 2? If yes, we can take 2 on the left hand side and then find out the quotients for these two numbers. Now as 3 is not divisible by 2, we have to take it as it is. But since 4 is divisible 2 times, 4 when divided by 2, the quotient will be 2. And this procedure has to be continued till we have no possibility of finding out any common factor. So in the next step now, we can again consider 2 as a factor. Why? Because it is prime in nature and 2 is divisible by 2. So 3 here is taken as it is not divisible, and 2 when divided by 2, the quotient is 1. And now we can take 3 so that we get 1 and 1 as the quotients. So this procedure here has to be continued till we get all ones as the quotient at the end. And the LCM of these two numbers can be taken as the product of all the prime factors that we have obtained on the left hand side. That is nothing but 2 into 2, 4, 4 into 3, 12. So the least common multiple of 3 and 4 is 12, and that is what we had obtained as the answer in the illustrative manner. So this is how we find out the LCM of the given numbers. What we need to do here is write down the given numbers in a straight row, and then on the left hand side we need to take up factors which can divide maximum of the given numbers. Generally it is preferred that we take prime factors on the left hand side, and this procedure has to be continued till all the quotients are equal to 1, and then the LCM is nothing but the product of all the factors that we have obtained on the left hand side. Let us take one more example to understand this procedure. Let us find out the LCM of the numbers 12, 36, 45 and 60. Now we have to find out the LCM of these four numbers. So as discussed, first we need to write down all the numbers in a straight row and then find out the factors which can divide maximum of these numbers. But one important point that has to be observed here is, whenever we are finding out LCM of some numbers, if there is any number which is a factor of some other number, then it can be striked off. For example, here we see that 12 is a factor of 36 and it is also a factor of 60. So since it is a factor of 36 or it is a factor of 60, it can simply be striked off from the calculation part. So now we need not worry about the number 12, as 12 is already a part of 36 as well as 60. So this is how, whenever we are finding out LCM of some given numbers, if there is any number which is a factor of some other number, then it can be left out. And then only for the remaining numbers we need to find out the least common multiple. So let us now start to find out the LCM of 36, 45 and 60. So as discussed, we need to take up that number which can divide maximum of these numbers. For example, let us start with 2. Now if we take 2 on the left hand side, we have 36 quotient as 18, 45 is not divisible and 60 goes 30 times. Again, continuing the procedure, we can take 2 once again, so that we have 9, 45 as it is, and this becomes 15 times. Now going forward, after 2 we can take up 3, 5, 7 if it is a factor for any of these numbers. And the order is not important, whether we take 2 first or 3 first doesn't matter, because ultimately we have to multiply all the factors. So let us now take up a factor which can divide maximum of these numbers. For example, we can either take 3 or we can take up 5. Let us take 3. So if you take 3 here, 9 goes 3 times, 45 is 15 times, and then 15 goes 5 times. Again, if you take 5, we have 3 as it is, since it is not divisible, and 15 goes 3 times and 5 goes 1 time. And finally we can understand that if we take 3 once again, this quotient will be 1 and 1. So instead of writing it in next step, let us understand that the final answer would be 2 into 2 into 3 into 5 into 3. Remember, do not take into 3 2 times. Why? Because only with one factor 3, both of them will give a quotient of 1. So we can simply understand that the LCM here would be 2 into 2 into 3 into 5 into 3. And this number here can be cancelled as both of them are same. So the LCM for these numbers would be equal to 2 into 2, that is 4, 4 into 3, 12, 12 into 5, 60, 60 into 3, 180. So the LCM of the given numbers, that is 12, 36, 45 and 60 is equal to 180. So 180 here is the smallest number that is divisible by 12, 36, 45 and 60. So this is how we can find out the LCM. Let me revise this procedure of finding out LCM once again. The first step here is to write down all the numbers in a straight row and then check, is there any number among the given numbers which is a factor of some other number. If yes, then those numbers can be striked off. And for the remaining numbers, we need to find out common factors, such that that factor can divide maximum of these numbers. So by finding out all the common factors till all the quotients become 1 and taking the product of all these factors, we get the required answer.